In India, about 11% of the population is predicted to be obese by 2035. Thanks to food being available at the click on our doorsteps, battling weight gain is everyone's challenge today. Our Maverick today is someone who is helping millions of users in tracking their lifestyles for being fit. His digital health and fitness app combines the power of technology to help deliver results on eating habits, fitness, and weight tracking.
उड़ जा रे बंदे उड़ जा रे बंदे बेपरवाह रे बंदे उड़ जा रे.
Entrepreneurship is probably for my mind and for my heart, but music's for my soul. I think they are good yin and yang, probably engage different parts of my brain.
बैठा क्यों है यहाँ खोया क्यों यहाँ छोटी सी जिंदगी है नीला है आसमां उड़ जा रे बंदे उड़ जा रे बंदे बेपरवाह रे बंदे उड़ जा रे.
Aadhaar came along as an opportunity that was just starting up. I reached out and was, again, lucky enough to be picked up by Nandan and his incredible early team. By the time I was concluding Aadhaar, I figured that while I had worked for the common man during those 2 years when we went from Aadhaar being a concept to nearly 400 million unique IDs being issued, I felt like I hadn't deeply empathized with what does it mean to be an average Indian. And so I decided to break that glass barrier around me and actually live like a common average Indian, and that average Indian income was 100 rupees a day. We were trying to track our nutrition, our lifestyle, to calibrate what does an Indian eat. So we started off HealthifyMe by building it into an Excel. When I started giving talks about that experiment, people wanted access to that Excel. We figured, why don't we give out a website that you can just query and track. And that website turned into an app, and that app is HealthifyMe today, which is now being used by 35 million Indians. Because it was a calorie counting self-engagement tool, there was no revenue model around it. But it was probably the best thing that happened to our company in hindsight, with our backs against the wall, to really innovate. And we started selling the subscription service access to our own team's nutritionists and trainers who were helping us build our databases.
Startup entrepreneurs have great ideas, but sometimes they are unable to monetize it, or they don't know the inflection point. How have you been able to sort of find that balance?
Don't start up in an area that you're not excited about. Obviously, you should be personally very excited about the problem to solve. I think, 1,000 days, 10 hours a day is 10,000 hours. And I think that provides enough level of expertise, even if it's not solving or you're not getting a product market fit then, it's a different story. But typically, people see the light in 1,000 days.
So what was your inflection point like?
For us, was very much running out of the money, right? So it was close to 1,000-day period, but we ran out of the money. But we had built enough domain expertise by then that we could really start to coach people online. If I had to do things again, I would do it faster, better, stronger, earlier. While we have accumulated really good talent around, I wish I had invested 30% of my time in just hiring. Any founder CEO needs to be a curator of people more than a creator of product. Best way to build culture is, frankly, the way you act. you hire and fire people accordingly. I think we tend to gravitate people who resonate with these concepts well. One of our cultural statements is do the impossible and healthify 1 billion. And I think these things tend to attract a certain type of people who want to make that impossibility a reality.
What are some innovations that you've undertaken in the last 10 years, and what's been the technology journey for your startup?
Fundamentally need tech and AI at its core to match and solve. Each nutritionist and trainer also, if it handles 1,000 clients, is only the way you can get to 1 billion people. That leverage can only come through AI. We built the first large language model in health and fitness ourselves, and it was called RIA. Now, the AI product was very disruptive to our coaching solution because it was a 10th of the price point. Obviously, these are not easy decisions. Sometimes they result in genuine self-disruption. Like when we launched the AI plan, our revenues fell for 2 quarters straight because most people were gravitating towards the cheaper plan and not towards the mainstream coaching plan. And our board was split as to which direction should we go. You try and build customer-first products and solutions, and you try to take the best in the world to try and deliver to them. So we've already built Healthify in 13 languages in India alone. So we're very ripe to be exported and to be created in Europe, in Southeast Asia, in Latin America, and Middle East. And some of our pilots in these markets are already proving that we can be and we deserve to be a global company.
As a founder, you need multiple things to work for you to succeed. And here are your 3 options. The first is a fantastic team, a great product, but no resources. Your second option is great product, deep resources, but an average team. And the third would be deep funding, good team, but an average product.
Any day I would choose a fantastic team, and actually it stops there. I think if you have a good team, and if you're solving a good problem, a large enough problem, then eventually you'll be able to build a great product.
Founders often have to make hard decisions for their businesses during a particularly tough market situation. And here are your options. The first is layoffs. You slow down the growth and be profitable. The second is you don't do layoffs. You have no growth and you delay your profitability. And the third option is layoffs. You fuel your growth and you delay your profitability.
I think every startup's first rule is to survive. I think the second is to grow. I think as a founder, I would choose layoffs, I would slow down growth, and I would become profitable, or I would certainly become a lot more profitable than I've been in the past.
Tushar, from a business perspective, the debate is always about when to go IPO. So if you had 3 options from an IPO perspective, the first is file for IPO, fuel growth, but be answerable to investors every quarter. The second would be keep the company private, be okay with slow growth, file an IPO only when the business or the market conditions work for you. And the third is forget about the IPO, raise funds through private investors, and pivot the business for growth.
As for me, I think the third one is something I certainly wouldn't do. So I'm not afraid of us going public, and I think I'm not afraid of having institutional investors' scrutiny on it. Providing liquidity to existing private investors is important, and I think if we do go IPO, I certainly hope that we leave significant upside and room for the retail investors as well. So an IPO shouldn't be the conclusion of your journey, but really the beginning of the second phase of your company.
Tushar is a true maverick and a trailblazer who has today built a valuable brand that is helping people live better. We hope you enjoyed hearing his story on how he persevered to build HealthifyMe. For more such inspirational and interesting stories, keep tuned in to Mavericks Season 3 on YourStory.
Fundamentally need tech and AI at its core to match and solve. Every good founder runs out of money at least once. It's almost like a rite of passage. Don't start up in an area that you're not excited about. Obviously, you should be personally very excited about the problem to solve. If I had to do things again, I would do it faster, better, stronger, earlier.